Alright, welcome back. Now it's time to compare some of my favorite premium heavy tanks in the game. And I'm talking about the KV lineup. We have two rank 4 premium heavy tanks. The KV-122 and the KV-220. Now, they are honestly very interesting vehicles. They are ridiculously fun to drive, and it will be time to figure out how will these two vehicles compare to one another. And I'll start with the super strong, the KV-220. Now this thing has a 85mm main gun. It is, despite its looks decently maneuverable, it is also, believe it or not, it's actually quite fast. It does reach top speed very quickly. The reverse is usable. It weighs 63 tons, 6 crew members, 136mm average penetration, fast reload, 7.6 seconds. The turret speed is okay, 12 degrees per second, but the armor, the main thing on this vehicle is the armor. It is ridiculously heavily armored, although it is not invincible. The driver's hatch, the machine gun port, and the gun mantlet are basically the weak spots on this vehicle. But if you angle the vehicle, it can be difficult to penetrate, and it indeed can be quite difficult to kill, although it has a very explosive fuel tank, and overall it is, if you know where to shoot this vehicle, it is honestly not that difficult to kill. Now this vehicle, this thing here, a IS-KV hybrid, as I like to call it. It has a huge 122mm gun. It is also fast, it has a better reverse speed. It is a little bit lighter, has 4 crew member, has much better penetration, 206mm, does have a PHE BC, which honestly for this gun is really good. Longer reloads, as expected, since this is a big gun, and the armor on the KV-122 isn't the best. It basically traded the armor and speed. It traded the armor for extra speed, for extra maneuverability, and this vehicle does feel much less armored than the KV-220, although it is still a very interesting tank to drive, and you can also use the same angling trick, although it has the same weak spots as any KV, basically the driver's hatch, the lower plate, and in this case even the turret, since the turret is kind of based on the IS tank, and the IS's turret is, you know, very easy to penetrate from the front. So basically this vehicle has the same weak spots as the KV, and in some cases as the IS, although that main gun is nasty. Let me tell you, this gun is no joke. Besides the SU-100Y, this is probably the second best gun in the tier, in the class here. So that was the short introduction, and now let's roll out and let's have some fun with these tanks. And I'll start with the chunk. I'll start with the KV-220. Now, I bought this vehicle, I think, last month. Did cost me quite a bit of gold, but I can tell you right away, 100% worth it. This thing is crazy. I mean, I have been playing KV vehicles for quite a while, and I play them by angling the armor, and this thing just rewards angling really well, although you have to be careful. The KV can penetrate the frontal armor, or should I say it can penetrate the frontal armor. It can also penetrate the turret, and the tank like the SU can also do the same. That was a nasty hit right in the weak spot. This is basically the same spot where you shoot this vehicle as well if you want to kill it, so you really have to try to angle as much as possible and try to hide that driver's hatch as much as possible. That's the secret that the KV drivers don't tell you. Shoot it in the driver's hatch and this thing just blows up, since the ammo is stored right in the middle of the vehicle, below the turrets. And when you penetrate the driver's hatch, the shrapnel, the spalling goes right in the ammo detonating the vehicle, which is an important thing to know if you have to face these vehicles. Although I have to say, at longer distances, it is kind of difficult to hit that spot, so you have to spend a couple of shells maybe to nail the right spot. Although, if you do hit the right spot, the vehicle is basically dead. And the KV does have a very good gun, despite being a lower caliber gun. It is still fairly accurate at longer distances, and that's a good thing because you want to rely on the range against some of the vehicles, like that we have the box tank on the other end of the map here, and yeah, the box tank can definitely kill me if I'm not careful. So in some cases you have to rely on the range. And the box tank angled and moved. Yeah, didn't manage to hit the right spot there, but that's fine. It has the box tank has a long reload. This thing does reload twice as fast, so not a big deal. Even if you miss, you have a very good reload, and you can get that shell back in the gun very quickly. And I'm just waiting to see if you can play the KV-122 the same way as you can play this thing, although there is still quite a difference between the vehicles. Speed is one. Oh no, that's not. If I don't kill it, and it didn't. Oh my god! And okay, they bounced. Good. My angle idea worked. Right in the driver's hatch. Also very good kill. Yeah, I think I'm just going to move and bomb the SU right there. I definitely not going to try that twice, because that's probably not a good idea against that vehicle. If they bounced once, the next time they will not bounce. And I'll try to drop some bombs on top of the vehicles. Now, the KV-122, as you will see later, it can also do some sniping, but the accuracy of that gun is definitely doesn't feel as accurate as this 85. And I definitely like the faster reload on this KV. And yeah, you can actually penetrate Tiger 2s from the front. You will be able to penetrate most vehicles quite easily with this 85mm gun. It has enough penetration to punch through most of the armor within the tier, and even against higher tier vehicles you will have little to no issues to penetrate the armor on the enemy tanks, which is a good thing. And when I jumped in this tank for the first time, I was very, very surprised by how ridiculously maneuverable it was. Initially I expected this to be a brick. I expected something, something slow, but I couldn't be further away from the truth, because this thing is extremely maneuverable. And I got 9 kills, just like that. Just like that, a walk in the park, basically. And I think we will also win the match. Does look like it. Well, this is definitely going to look like a victory to me. That was a definitely a good match for sure. Not bad. 9 kills, first place. I'll take it. Could have been better, but not going to complain. It's still a good match. Now on to the KV-122. I played with the 122, very similar to a medium tank. I mean, it has like the same main gun as some of the rank 6 vehicles, so this is basically a rank 6 gun in rank 4, tier 4 basically, which is kind of ridiculous when you think about it. But of course, I mean, good gun isn't everything. This tank is quite paper, and it is very easy to kill this vehicle. So definitely much less armor than the KV. It does feel like it does feel slower than the KV-220. It does feel like the other KV does accelerate faster, and the only difference, I guess, is the reverse speed. This thing has a decent reverse speed, better reverse than on the 220, so you will be able to use the reverse on this vehicle much more effectively. It does feel like the SU-152 basically when it comes to the reverse speed of the vehicle. It does go in reverse fairly fast, which again is a very good thing if you like to play the reverse game. And well, I mean, speaking of how much damage the shell does, it is APHEBC, which is the explosive ballistic capped armor piercing ammo, which means that once this thing goes in, it wrecks. So you'll have no issues with killing tanks in one hit with this big shell, with this big gun. It just slaps. And we have a IS-1, easily able to penetrate the IS from front. After all, it has about the same gun as the IS, M18 Hellcat. I'm still reloading though. The reload is probably one of the weaker aspects of the vehicle. The reload is indeed quite long, and the reload is definitely the largest drawback of this vehicle. The reload and, I guess, lack of armor. Although it is, I mean, when I say lack of armor, it doesn't mean that it has like no armor. It is still a heavy tank, and for a heavy tank, it is still decently armored. Although nowhere near the armor on the KV-220. The 220 is just nasty when it comes to armor, and that thing is kind of made to be, I mean, you can rely on the armor on that vehicle much more than you can rely on this vehicle. And the 220 has one of the better armors in its class, in the tier, in the rank as well. Although the main gun, on the other hand, on that tank, I mean, it's still good, but obviously not as good as this gun on this thing. This tank does feel like a tank destroyer in some cases, and you can technically play this as a tank destroyer if you like, of course. It should work without a problem, since tank destroyers have a big gun and this has a big gun, so it should in theory work just fine. Oh look, a tank destroyer. Well, that was that tank has been polarized basically. Let me go, and well, I guess I have to carry the match now. I mean, I'm not surprised. I am not surprised. Let me see if I can. I wasn't sure if those were friendly bombs. In any case, that was kill number 5, and now I have to capture the base, or there's no. That was actually a weird angle at which I penetrated that tank. I did not expect it to go in. Honestly, I expected it to bounce, but it didn't bounce, it just destroyed it, so that was a very good kill. And now I can just capture the base. We have one M1, And yeah, someone else got a kill. Okay. You can use the tracks of this vehicle to bounce on shells as well. The tracks on like KV vehicles are quite thick, and you can use them to easily bounce shells if necessary, of course. And I am also slowly running out of ammo on this vehicle. I don't carry much all of shells on this KV. Usually it's enough. Even the ordinary APHE is more than enough, and I also do have APHE in case I need it. APHE is also really good. I love that shell type, it's awesome. That shell type is simply put awesome. Now what do we have here? Okay. That was kill number 7, beautiful. And now I am down on APHE, which is fine, I can still take advantage of this ammo. It is still really good, still has very good penetration and very good damage. But it does seem like we will win the match, and yeah, that was a good match. So, conclusion, well, both vehicles are fantastic, honestly. If you have the 220, I mean, it is very difficult to say which one is better, since both are just very good and both are fantastic. But if you prefer armor, then the KV-220 is definitely the way to. If you prefer a better main gun, then the KV-122 is, I guess the tank for you. But with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed. If you would like to support me, feel free to like and subscribe. And with that being said, stay safe. As always, I'll see you next time.